Hello, very good afternoon, dear children. Today we are going to start a new chapter from Civics. Right. We have finished the earlier history chapter, and to actually make sure that you're writing the classwork and the homework, I have uploaded the classwork and the homework yesterday night. Please do check out the classroom section where you will get the classwork and the homework made into a single PDF about kings, kingdoms, and the early republic. Now, moving on to the civics, we are going to study about the key elements of democratic government in today's class. In today's class, we are going to look at how it was done in South Africa, what was the condition of the people in South Africa. Now, by doing this, by learning the examples of South Africa, we will come to know about some of the key elements that influence the working of a democratic country like India. A lot of countries are democratic in nature nowadays. These include people's participation, the resolution of conflict, and equality and justice. The chapter begins with the mention of South Africa. You might be knowing about South Africa. South Africa is also called as the Rainbow Nation. Can you tell me why it's called as a Rainbow Nation? If you know anybody, you can tell me about the Rainbow Nation. Look at their flag, South African flag. Why South Africa is called as a Rainbow Nation? Okay, I'm just waiting for your answer. Okay, no need of putting present here. I cannot check whether you are present in the YouTube. The video will be there here. You can watch in different times. Any time that you are free, you can watch the video. That's the idea. I come to YouTube to describe the various unity there. Okay, Parini, that's a good answer. Because the place have so much of rainbows. Not that one, Anjana. South Africa is a country that has people of several races. That is the exact answer. Malini Uday Shankar. Who is using the ID? The child, can you tell me your name? That's the exact answer. South Africa has white people, black people, Indian people, and colored people. It's the country of mixed races. So that is why the country is called as the country Rainbow Nation. Now there are people, black people who belong to South Africa, natives, white people who came there to settle, Europeans, Indians who went there as laborers and traders. So they all settled there. So this chapter begins with one incident where Maya Naidu, an 11-year-old South African girl living in the town of Johannesburg, was helping her mother clean up her old boxes. She found a scrapbook full of pictures, and there was picture of a young boy around 15 years of age, and she was very curious to know who that boy is. And she asked her mother who the boy was, and she replied that it was Hector Peterson, and he had been shot by the police. Maya was shocked. She asked why. Her mother explained that South Africa was earlier governed by apartheid laws. Now, what is apartheid? I'll just put it here. What do you mean by apartheid? This is the first time you are hearing about the word called apartheid. Why do the different people with different color? Apartheid is racial discrimination based on the color. The color is what is a base of discrimination. You have read about the discrimination, diversity and discrimination in India. Discrimination happens because he belongs to a lower caste. Discrimination happens because he belongs to a particular religion. Discrimination happens because he is a poor people or poor person. But in South Africa, the discrimination happened based on the color, normally with white and black. Now, how do you say white and black? Now, you might say that I am very white or very fair. But in South Africa, you will see the African people. They are black, and there is white. There is Indians. I told you Indians had gone there. There are other people also, different colored people. So discrimination was done, and that discrimination is called as apartheid. It means separation on the basis of race. South African people were divided into white, black, Indian, and colored races. I told you. According to the law, these races were not allowed to mingle with each other, to live near each other, or to use common facilities. They did not have common bus. There was a bus for white people, there was a bus for black people, there was a church for white people, there was another church for black people, there was school for white people, there was different school for black people. So we do not have it in India. If you notice, every colored people or mixed race attends a common school. We do not have a separate school based on color, or neither based on gender, or based on region, like that. We do not have discrimination because we have something called as the constitution, right, by which the government is governed. Maya could not believe her ears. Maya's mother sounded angry when she spoke about the life under the apartheid law. She told Maya in those days hospitals were separate, so were ambulances. An ambulance meant for white people would always be well equipped with one meant for black people. Because why do you think the white was well equipped? Because the white people were ruling there. White people were there. White people went from Europe and they settled down in Africa. They subdued the African people and they started their government. Actually, it is the native of Africans. Like Indians, we are from India. British came to India. They conquered us. They subdued us. They had their government for nearly 400 years. Yeah, the Europeans ruled us for nearly 400 years, and we couldn't do anything, right? Last, we got freedom in 1947. Same thing with the British, same thing with the South Africans. Yeah, often that is true. George Floyd was shot dead, which actually led to a huge rage protest against the white people. Black Lives Matter. You might have heard about Black Lives Matter movement in the Corona outbreak. This actually happened in America. Even today, there is tension between the black people and the white people. Very famous black people, if you remember, I will tell you some of the names. If you go to the sports, you'll see Serena Williams, Venus Williams from tennis. You will see Tiger Woods in golf. You will see the cricketers, Jamaican cricketers, black people, obviously, and you will see sprinters, Usain Bolt. Yes, Ethan, Usain Bolt too. And these are just celebrities. Think about politics. Their president, Barack Obama, was also a black person, right? Yes. There was tension. There was a lot of tension in 60s and 70s, but now it is reduced in United States. We're talking about South Africa, where white and black tensions were too much. What was the condition where the people of white and black people had separate hospitals, ambulances, schools, churches. There were separate trains and buses. Even the bus stops were different for blacks and white people. See, clearly you can see a separation of black and white, apartheid, racial segregation. Non-whites were not allowed to vote. The best land in the country was reserved for the white people. Non-whites had to live in the worst available land. Thus, blacks and colored people were not considered to be equal. One black township was the southwestern township called Soweto. Hector Peterson lived there. He and his classmates tried to protest against the apartheid that they faced. In their issue, they wanted to learn a language called Afrikaans. Afrikaans is one of the languages that is there in South Africa. This was the language. They were against the language. They were supposed to learn Afrikaans language in the school because white people spoke African language, and they were not ready to learn African language. They wanted to learn their own language called Zulu. Do you know about Zulu and African language? No, may not be. You have to Google it to know. So Hector and other school students were being forced to learn the language Afrikaans. They wanted to learn a language called Zulu. The South African police beat up the protesters mercilessly and shot at the crowd. One of the bullets killed Hector. This was on 16th June 1976. What happened after that was an organization called African National Congress (ANC), group of people who were led by a person called as Gandhi of South Africa. Can you mention the name of who is known as the Gandhi of South Africa? Can you tell me who is known as that one? Who is known as Gandhi of South Africa? Nelson Mandela. Well done, Ananya. Nelson Mandela is known as the Gandhi of South Africa. For that matter, Gandhiji, our Mahatma Gandhiji, had been to South Africa. He saw this and he was really horrified to see the racial discrimination happening between Indians, South Africans, whites, blacks. And he was there. By that time, no Indian knew about Mahatma Gandhi. He went to South Africa. He was there. He fought so many cases. There is a very famous incident where he was kicked out of the train for sitting in the first class. You might be remembering about Gandhiji. And he came back to India. Then he became Mahatma because he had so many problems in India. You're right. Nelson Mandela fought the apartheid system for several years. Finally, they succeeded in 1994. South Africa became a democratic country and they drafted their constitution, one of the finest constitution in the world, which people of all races were considered equal. All of the people were given equal representation, equal priority. That's why it's called a rainbow nation, where all the colors matter in South Africa, right? Now, there is very, very strange thing about Nelson Mandela. Do you know about it? Nelson Mandela was put into jail. How many years was he there in jail? Actually, even I should not quote wrong. What was the number of years that he spent in jail? Yeah, he was the first. 10 years. He was in jail for 27 years. Nearly his youth. He was there in jail for 27 years. 27. Yeah. All his life he fought for only one thing, against the racial discrimination. Anargya. 100 years. How can he be for 100 years? 27 years in prison. Yeah. He was put inside the prison. He came out. He fought against. New constitution was made. South Africa is a new nation with the representation given to all the mixed people, mixed races. Now, let me try to understand what a democratic government means to all of us. First, we'll begin with the participation. Now, I before even beginning the chapter, I had told you a story. Now, boys, you might be wondering why this black and white happened, right? Let me give you a story about why this happened. Now, very early, Europe was a continent where people were more, education was more, people were more, and resources were less, because when you have more people, you will have less resources. Like India, because consuming all the resources, no resources left for all the people, and they were constantly looking out for the resources other side. They did not know that time there wasn't an airplane, there wasn't a train or buses to connect and come to India or come to Africa. There was only one route. Can you tell me which route? Which route connected the continents? Africa, Europe, Australia, Asia. Water, sea route. Yes, Ethan, it is sea route. And a lot of the sailors from Europe set out to look for resources. They wanted resources. Resources can be gold, minerals, metals, food, land, and they set out for resources and they came to Africa. And if you see the map, you will understand you have to cross a lot of sea to come to Africa. When they came to Africa, they saw a continent with a huge resource, abundant of resources. Africa is called a dark continent. It has a huge amount of resources, right? But the people are black. And when these people came, they thought they're all black, and they tried to have an idea. But I told you, these are from Europe, and from Europe, they were quite rich. And they came there. They tried to decimate the South Africans or the Africans. They conquered them. They settled down there. The Africans did not have weapons. They never thought somebody will come there and they have to fight. They were all peaceful persons. But these people who went there had weapons because they were sailors going to another country. They cannot imagine that other country will be problematic. So they had weapons. They subdued South Africans. They took control of the government. They made the government. They made the laws. They changed the laws. They treated the natives of South Africa as inferior. And that is why when the government was made, there was an understanding between the black and the white people. And obviously, because so much, it's their land, right? That's why Nelson Mandela was picked, even despite being in jail, because he fought for them. And all the resources were actually looted by the white people. Happened in India too, while Vasco da Gama, Portuguese sailor, came to India. After that, Dutch came to India, French came to India, last British came to India. Portuguese left only in Goa. Dutch, nowhere to mention. French, parts of Puducherry and all. British, on the other hand, stayed. They came for trade, children. व्यापार करने के लिए आए थे, उनको सिर्फ व्यापार का ही मकसद था. But they came for trade. They stayed. They took our administration. They made policies. उन्होंने राज किया. They became our rulers. They made us their slaves. उनका दास बनाया हमें. And they were there till 1947. तो उन्होंने क्या कंट्रीब्यूट किया हमें? हमारे पूरे जो कंट्री में रिसोर्सेस था उसको लूट लिया. Our country was the richest country in 17th century. Richest country. We were very good. We were going neck to neck with China. We had all the resources possible. Greatest country. But the British came to India. They looted away all the resources, took back to England, and they are all rich now. But now we are struggling. We're struggling with the population. We do not have money. We have to go and ask with the World Bank. This happened because of the British who came here. Why couldn't we defeat British? Because we were not united. We were all like, अरे उसके घर में आया है तो उसको मारने दो, इसके घर में आया है तो इसको मारने दो. We never thought of India as a nation till Gandhi ji led the movement. जब गांधी जी आए तो सबको इकट्ठा करने की कोशिश किया. He made them united. Hindus, Muslims, poor, rich, Dalits, सबको साथ में लाके he led the national freedom movement. That was probably the historic one. Because of this, we got independent. Otherwise, हम आज भी ब्रिटिश के अंडर मर गए होते. Nobody would have had the fundamental rights that you enjoy today. आज हम फंडामेंटल राइट्स है, हम बात करते हैं, हम फ्री है, कोई हमें कुछ नहीं करता. कोई कंट्री हमारे ऊपर कुछ भी बोलेगा तो हम उस कंट्री के ऊपर बोल सकते हैं. लेकिन ऐसे कभी नहीं होता if the great man wouldn't have been alive. So respect to the greatest man of India, father of India, Mahatma Gandhi ji. And let's get back to what are the key elements of the government in the next class. So till then, it's goodbye from me. I hope you understood why black and white actually had tensions. So blacks were African native people and white were European people. Even America was people with the black, but these people, Europeans, went to America and there also they did the same thing. The Europeans are much more dangerous compared to the other people. It demanded in that era where they had to find the resources, which was very common. So thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow with the next part of this one. Till then, it's goodbye and thank you so much.